People have said, you're being outspent, and everybody's talking about all the math and all the things that this race is inevitable. Well, for someone who thinks this race is inevitable, he spent a whole lot of money against me for being inevitable.
The elite media's effort to convince the nation that Mitt Romney is inevitable just collapsed.
And there you see Mississippi, Rick Santorum, the big winner. We can project Newt Gingrich will finish second, Mitt Romney in third. Then in Alabama, another big win for Rick Santorum. And right now we cannot call second or third in the state of Alabama. Let's check in now with Chief Political Correspondent Carl Cameron. He is in Alabama. Good evening, Carl. Some interesting things from Speaker Gingrich in our interview, and you talked to him earlier tonight.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to head upstairs to his suite while he was watching the returns with his wife Callista and some of his staffers, and very, very calm and collected, lots of laughing, many phone calls going on. Mr. Gingrich was busily talking to his supporters and advisors around the country, and we talked with him, and he very clearly said during the results, before the races were called, that no matter the outcome, he intended to go on to Tampa. And we talked about his firm belief that there's no way Romney can win a majority of the delegates based upon Gingrich's estimation of the math. In short, it boils down to the Gingrich camp's assertion that Romney may win a plurality of the delegates, but on its current trajectory, in Gingrich's view, there's no way he can actually win a majority. The 1,144 delegates needed to clinch the nomination, and he got quite personal on a number of occasions. In presidential campaigns, candidates like to talk about policy differences and occasional misrepresentations of the truth or an inability to be completely accurate. They don't like to call each other liars, and they don't like to get too personal, but they make all kinds of references about integrity and personal character. It is very clear that a big part of why Newt Gingrich is going to stay in this race and continue to run is to block Mitt Romney from winning the nomination. There is a very personal tone to this. Gingrich is evidently distrustful of his integrity, his honesty, and believes that Mitt Romney lacks the character to be commander-in-chief, to be the president of the United States. So that motivation alone is clearly a big part of Romney's determination to keep on running. And he recognizes that there's intense pressure coming from the Santorum campaign for Gingrich to now get out of the contest. The Santorum campaign has been, and Mr. Santorum himself has been saying this for some time. It's not a direct request for Gingrich to leave, just an awful lot of pressure. That's going to ramp up. Gingrich knows it. And tonight, his principal argument and the rhetoric going forward is it ain't going to be Mitt Romney. It still has to be decided whether it's Gingrich or Santorum, Brett.
Hey, 20 seconds here, Carl. The Romney campaign, we didn't see Mitt Romney tonight. Why was that?
Well, for one thing, about a week and a half ago, when they looked at the polls and they looked at the way things were going, they thought there was an outside chance that Romney could pull off perhaps even a first-place showing in Alabama or Mississippi. But they knew he was going to get roughly a third of the delegates. So by not scheduling an election night celebration, they're not in the position of Mr. Romney having to give a speech and having some reporter, like me, standing in front of his stage saying, bad night for Mitt Romney. No Romney headquarters, but still not a good night for him, Brett.
All right, Carl Cameron, live in Birmingham. Carl, thanks. Back with the panel, Steve, A.B., Kirsten, and Charles. Steve, interesting, that whole dynamic. What did you think of that interview with Newt Gingrich?
Well, it was fascinating. I mean, he was half candidate and half analyst, right? I mean, he was just describing to you exactly where he wanted to be and how he saw his continued presence in the race. And it was very clear to me, at least, that he wants to deny Mitt Romney 1144. That is now his goal in the race, and they'll figure out the details later. And he basically said that. I mean, I'm almost paraphrasing what he told you. It was interesting. He made several arguments on behalf of that strategy. He said by having two conservatives in the race, they would split the attacks from Mitt Romney. He couldn't focus his money on one of the two candidates. He talked tonight about having won together 2/3 of the delegates from Mississippi and Alabama, and how that was enough to deny Mitt Romney a win. I mean, these are the kinds of arguments one would make if you think that that's your best bet. And I again, communicating with the Gingrich staffer, said that it would be a powerful team, a Santorum-Gingrich team, if that were to be the case down the road. Unlikely. The Santorum campaign doesn't like it.